Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Karen Marsdale, President at the Greater Reading Chamber of Commerce, and we're here again for a member spotlight. And this is a point in time when we get to interview our members and bring their stories to you. And it's wonderful to have this opportunity now, today to meet with Sandy Wagner from Sensory Concepts. Sandy, welcome.
Thank you.
To,
nice to be here.
To the show. And I'm so glad you could be here. You know, one of the things as I'm reading some of the things that you do, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish we could have had this interview at your location so that maybe I could have had some of the massages and things that you do. Because I know a friend of mine just recently had that opportunity, and she said it was just phenomenally wonderful. So
thank you.
At any rate, so you have two locations. You're
I do.
in Wyomissing and Leesport.
Leesport, yes.
Which was the first one you opened?
I opened Leesport in 2009 and Wyomissing in 2015.
Wow.
So I've been there a little over 2 years now.
So that means there's growth in the business.
Yes, it was a fabulous move for me to move to Wyomissing. Most of the people that I was networking with were in Wyomissing.
Okay.
So when I go to a business mixer and they'd ask where my office was.
You said Leesport and they thought it was the end of the earth,
Pretty
right?
much that was the end of the conversation. So I really needed to make that move.
Well,
but I wasn't willing to give up clients out in Leesport. So
Sure,
it worked out really
in
well.
that area. So it's great. That's great. Well, that's good. Always good news to hear that people are expanding. So tell me a little bit about what you do if we met at either a networking reception or if I just happened to see you at a friend's house.
Okay, well, we pretty much run the gamut of massage. I specialize in orthopedic, which is all about structural balance.
Okay.
So if somebody comes to me that has a pathology or a chronic condition where they're dealing with pain every day,
okay,
and their quality of life has been compromised, we'll book them with me. So I've been trained to look for the cause of a problem. Mm-hmm. So if somebody comes in and they're having a pain in a certain area, I can work that area and it's going to feel great for that day, but it's not going to do anything for the future. I need to know what action they're doing that causes that pain and get at the muscles that create the action. So I'm looking for the cause as opposed to working a symptom.
So you're a detective looking for that
real
reason why that pain
is. And sometimes there's more than one issue there, and it really is like solving a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh, sure.
It's not a cookie cutter type of therapy. You really have to delve into what's going on with each individual client. Sometimes there's an emotional barrier there that we need to research and get past.
That's interesting.
So that's really interesting. You know, there are sometimes people just do not respond to the treatment, and then I have to start asking more questions and finding out what else is going on in their life that could be blocking their recovery.
Well, that's interesting. So there could be an emotional barrier.
Yes.
Like what?
Well, it could be domestic violence in the past. It could be maybe a fall off of a horse. I get a lot of that, believe it or not. A lot of people in this area riding horses and having accidents.
Right.
Could have been when they were a child and did not realize how something is underlying all those years. Excuse me. And then it just kind of manifests itself years later and then comes back. And that's the toughest thing, to go back into someone's memory and back into their life and figure out, where this all started.
Wow, that is very unique.
It's amazing how someone, once you identify that, how they start to respond and can get their range of motion back. It's really interesting.
That is something that I would have never, ever thought would be, a part of this, to just kind of delve back into a bit of history, but that's probably so true. Mm-hmm. Now there's a new service that you're providing, and I know that is something that probably women would be very interested in hearing about. So talk a little bit about that.
You'd be surprised how many men are asking about it also.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's called the Ultrashape. It's an ultrasound treatment. It is not a weight loss solution. So if somebody does not have a healthy way of living, this is not the treatment for them. But some people have one area of their body, you know, they're active, they eat well, and they still have that one area that's a problem that they want to have taken care of. And that's what this does. It targets the subcutaneous fat cells, the squishy fat. That's the easiest way. You know, diet and exercise will get to your visceral fat, but when people are exercising, they still have that squishy fat. So what this does, it's kind of like playing a video game where you cannot hit the same fat cell twice. It tells you exactly where to go. It tells you when you're lined up, and it tells you that you've hit the mark once you hit the button. And it will hit every single fat cell that we have mapped out, basically. And it's a series of treatments, three treatments in a series, 2 weeks apart, but it will continue to work 4 to 6 weeks after. So even after someone has these treatments, we have to book them, say, 5 weeks out. They come back in for their very last set of measurements, and that's when they really see the results.
Huh.
So
Now,
it's amazing.
So when that is completed, when that whole regimen is completed, then what's the shelf life of it?
Well, those fat cells do not come back. But again, if you
Oh.
have an unhealthy lifestyle, you're going to get other fat cells. So anyone thinking about getting a tummy tuck, this is perfect. You can get off this table and go do whatever you need to do. You can go work out at the gym. You shouldn't even do that after a massage. So I'm sorry, I'm a little dry. But I lost my train of thought. What
Well,
were
we
we
talked
talking
about if someone is
the
finished
fat cells
the regimen,
coming back. Yes.
you know, is it going to come back? But like you said,
Right.
if they're not going to do anything for themselves,
Right. So the difference with this is it's perfectly pain-free.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone has a tummy tuck or has any type of surgery, they're going to have to take off of work. They're going to have to go under anesthesia, go under the knife, have recovery time. You won't have that with this.
Now, how did you find out about this? Is this
I was researching other options. I don't want to talk about this.
Sure.
I don't want to bash on anybody else, but I was researching other options, and this was the safest one.
okay?
So
okay.
there are other options where you can either freeze the fat or you can put heat on the fat, and there are risks with all of those.
Okay, it's interesting because I think perhaps people might think that if they are not going into sort of general surgery with some type of a procedure that causes you to use a knife, that everything is safe, and maybe that's not
Right,
the case.
right.
So how have you found this to be? Are your clients finding out about it? Is it something that you're?
We're just now getting it off the ground. So
Okay.
the people that we have had in there have been successful with it and will tell their friends.
Sure,
And
sure.
hopefully they'll tell their friends. But we need to get it out there and let people know there is a safer alternative other than having surgery.
Sure, sure. Well, one of the things that it talks about is that you talk about the orthopedic and also the medical massages. Because I think when people think about massages, we all think about relaxation, and we think about, there's just a multitude of types of massages.
Right.
So can you, because we could probably talk about this for an hour, but could you, in a short time, tell us if we were to sort of bucket them into what makes them different?
Okay. Well, there are a lot of different modalities out there. We also do pregnancy. Orthopedic is basically high-end sports massage.
Okay.
So, people that go for sports massage, this would be awesome for them. I have a lot of athletes that come to me.
Sure.
We do your traditional therapeutic. Now, anyone can go get a Swedish massage, which is a very light touch, very good for relaxation. You can get a Swedish massage and be a perfectly healthy person, and it will still boost your immune system. So any type of massage really can be kind of put under that medical massage because it's all beneficial for every type of client. But there are just a lot of different modalities out there. I try to build my staff with people who want to specialize in something.
Sure.
So I have an esthetician that does the Ultrashapes, does the facials and waxings. I have a reflexologist that all she does is reflexology. If anyone has pain every single day, they're going to come to me for orthopedic. If we get them to the point, which we usually do, where they don't need the orthopedic anymore and they want to stay on for maintenance massage, we'll move them to one of the girls that's just traditionally doing therapeutic.
And it really does is very important, I think, that people know the difference.
Yes.
And go to people who are, not only practiced,
But licensed. Very important.
Because one massage is different than another massage, and I think people sort of lump that together, and perhaps are looking for a coupon, a Groupon, a best price, and et cetera, and it really isn't helping them
Right. They need
in the way they need to be helped.
They need to find the right therapist for them.
Right.
And
Right.
it's a shame how many people they may be gone and gotten that old school deep tissue and had a bad experience with it, and it just has shied them from away from massage forever. And that's a shame, because that just wasn't the right therapist for them.
No, and you talked about boosting your immune system, which is so important, and particularly I'm sure you see, and I know we're going to be wrapping up soon, but we live in a society where everybody's under stress. It doesn't even matter if you're working, retired. It's almost like there's this, pace that we're going at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and and then our immune system breaks down, and so much of our health challenges are based on that. So we need to think about that.
People don't realize what stress really does to tear your body down, and they also don't realize the amazing capabilities that our bodies have to heal themselves.
That's very true.
Everything
so
right
it's not
now,
too late.
Yeah.
It's
no,
not
it's
too late.
never too late.
It's not too
I
late.
have people in their 80s and 90s that come to me that we've been able to turn things around.
That is remarkable. Now I'm going to ask one more question, and that is, how long have you been in this business?
About 10 years.
Okay. And what made you get into this particular practice?
I was doing all hospice work. I was working for Advantage Home Care with Burke's Visiting Nurses.
Oh.
And I loved what I did. I was very good at it, but going from family to family and just making people comfortable as they're passing on, and having the families depend on you so heavily for that emotional support.
Sure.
It was tough.
Yeah.
I went home every day
Sure.
weepy and absolutely drained, and I just didn't feel like I was truly helping anyone.
Well, when you're a caring person, and you take things, and you can't help but be taking them personally. You
take it on.
Yeah, you take it on, and you can do it for just so long. Well, this has been just wonderful to get to really spend a little bit of time with you one-on-one, because I just think that this is, and I would hope our guests who are listening, and hearing this conversation will say, you know what, I do think that this is something that I really deserve to do for me, for my health and my wellness. So sensory concepts, you can go to Leesport, or you can go to Wyomissing.
We just have the aesthetics in Wyomissing.
Okay.
We're just licensed for it there.
Okay, well, that's fine, but then...
And
we do free consultations for the Ultrashape, so
free consultations.
It doesn't hurt to come in and just
absolutely
listen to what it's all about.
Because I know that you're a person of high integrity. You would tell people yay or nay.
And we have, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, which is
because it's not good for us if they do it and it doesn't work. It doesn't look good for us.
Absolutely. So. Well, you know what? I am thrilled that you were here, Sandy.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time to drop by, because I know everybody's busy, and you're probably going to run to a client, after this interview. So, of course, everyone goes back to the office. But thanks for being with us today.
Thank you
I appreciate
very much.
it.
It's nice to see you again.
Good to see you.